Want to wear one-of-a-kind gorgeous jewelry that also happens to give back to people and the planet? Look no further than Beaumont Jewelry Collective, a curated online fine jewelry collection featuring incredible pieces from 8 different designers. Whether you're looking for a gift for a loved one or treating yourself to something special, they'll have something beautiful and sparkly that'll be sure to catch your eye. Join their quest to make a positive impact through each designer piece at Beaumont.jewelrycollective.com. That's Beaumont.jewelrycollective.com. Today on CityCast Portland, we're looking into a shooting that injured 2 Portland police officers, a former Portland journalist who went undercover to investigate the Department of Homeland Security's hiring process for ICE agents, and the latest delay holding up one of the biggest downtown developments, the James Beard Public Market. Joining me on this week's Friday News Roundup are Willamette Week City Hall reporter Sophie Peel and our very own senior producer, Giulia Fiaoni. It's Friday, January 23rd. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Welcome, everyone, to the Friday News Roundup. Sophie, Giulia, thanks for joining me this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sophie, it's been a minute.
Well, it's been a month, as it always is.
A month too long.
It's been a month too long.
I just realized that we do cycle our contributors every month, and that's why every time they come on, I'm like, hi, I haven't seen you in so long.
With great regularity, yes.
It's been 3 years. You think I catch up? Well, today is the day we break down some of the biggest local stories of the week with some of the best and brightest journalists in town, like Sophie here. But before we jump into the news, I usually ask our guests an opening question so any new listeners can brace themselves for what's coming. So on Tuesday's episode, I talked with Krista Catwood about her retro mall walking group, the Food Court 5000, as well as the organized effort she's helping lead to save the Lloyd Center's atrium. So that's the center part of the mall with the ice skating ring and the food court and the bulk of where the remaining stores are located. If you weren't aware, the mall is getting demolished later this year for housing and a new music venue, which is honestly very exciting. But in its transition from like a sad liminal space to what it is now, the DIY punk rock mall, it's been really heartening to hear about all the people finding community in this nearly abandoned shopping center. So my question to you too is, if you had the resources and time to open up and run your very own store at the mall, which by the way, everyone who runs a store there, it's very much like, this is my passion. This is my hobby. Like, what would this store be?
So I recently have been getting back into scrapbooking, and I found out that it's actually trending right now on TikTok. It's called junk journaling instead. There's a new hot term for it. And the idea is it's supposed to be scrapbooking, but a lot less polished, with the hope of using recycled materials to put together mementos like movie tickets and so on. And I'm someone who really does collect those things a lot. I want a space to be able to junk journal with other people and have supplies on hand, because I don't have just like endless rolls of tape and glue sticks.
Of course.
So like imagine like a junk journaling cafe at the Lloyd Center where you show up and you bring your little bag of junk
so cute.
and you sit down and you can just hang out and drink coffee and put things down on paper. It sounds amazing.
I like it. Actually, because Giulia, I want to bookmark it. I'm going to let Sophie go first because she's our guest, our monthly guest, it seems
nice
now
of
that
you.
I just realized.
It seems she may be our monthly guest.
It seems every month. But bookmark that because it's kind of funny that you said that.
Okay.
Sophie, what's your idea?
Okay, well, I had 2 ideas and they're somewhat different, so I've decided to combine them. So I was in Edinburgh over the fall, and there was an incredible hot chocolate cafe. It was only hot chocolate. But it's not like the shitty, mix or anything like that. Like, they just have a bunch of glass canisters of like chocolate pieces of like 70%, 80%, 40%, 30%.
Wow.
Then they use whole milk, like, you can't use alternative, nothing wrong with alternative milks, but this is the real deal. And then they like hand make these like square marshmallows. Anyways, it's really magical. There's like a fireplace inside. So I would open a hot chocolate cafe with fireplaces inside, make it very cozy. And then also, I'm recently a pajamas convert. When I was little, I wore, what do you call the dress?
Oh, nightgown?
You've been sleeping in your clothes?
Well, not like jeans, but like, sweatpants or like
Well, those are pajamas.
no pants or, just depends.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
whatever
okay.
clothing.
All right.
But then I discovered real pajamas, like pajama sets and woolen ones. And anyways, it's really wonderful. But there's no pajama store.
Just Target, I guess.
So I would like to combine these two stores. It could do like half and half, or as you're checking out, you could be like, I would like that pair of pajamas. I don't know exactly how that would work yet. I didn't get that far.
That sounds amazing.
Thank you.
A pajama hot chocolate store. See
Yes.
these, or like what you're called junk journaling cafe. These
You
are
could put those all together.
These are exactly the kind of stores that exist at Lloyd Center right now. So this is really awesome. So my idea was I really think that there aren't enough third spaces for like kids and parents to hang out in that we aren't asking parents to pay a gajillion dollars for.
Yeah.
And I've noticed more and more kids are running around bars and breweries. And I gotta tell you, it's not cool. I don't want to be judgy. I just know if I were a kid, I'd be bored as hell. But mostly I'm just concerned that anyone is driving home after 3 beers with kids in the car. So my idea, and it's not that I'm saving children out here, but I was just like, clearly there needs to be a hangout space, So my idea is like a low-cost crafting space / art supply store. I feel like we're just going to have a big store, and this is going to be all these things that we just talked about. I know we have children's art studios sprinkled around town, but they're more like class-based. And again, like money. This is like a ball pit situation, like drop in whenever. Maybe partner
Drop
up
the
with
kids in.
drop the kids in
in the ball pit.
partner up with Scrap, make it super low cost, maybe even sliding scale. So like all kids can make some cool shit with their parents, easy parking, amazing bonding opportunity. You can hit up the ice skating ring, go to the hot chocolate store, go get a burger upstairs, scrap about your adventure afterwards. If I were a kid, I would be stoked.
Me too.
Yeah. Very unlike me to think of children, but
Yeah. No, that caught me off guard. But it's so that they're not in the spaces that you're in.
I just
so.
I don't want to see them, guys. I'm so sorry.
You're thinking about them, kind of.
I am thinking about, no, because whenever I see them at a bar, I'm like, little person.
It is always a little off-putting. It's
What
like,
are you doing
"Whoa,
here?
What are you doing here?" Just like looking
dear.
down.
And then I'm like, I can't curse now, right? Or like, I just feel like responsible now. It's a village. It takes a village. And I'm like, but that I wasn't on duty. It's 7 p.m. at a bar. I wasn't on duty, So anyhow, I think we have 3 amazing ideas. And I think it's going to be a superstore, honestly. All right, guys. Thanks for your awesome ideas. On to the news of the week. Sophie, you're going to kick us off. You have some pretty kind of awful news to share.
Yeah, it was a weird one. So on Monday, Portland police officers responded to reports of a man threatening someone with a knife, I believe it was. And those cops responded. And the guy had a gun and he shot at the cops and injured 2. Both of which, ended up were taken in ambulance to the hospital, and I think one has been released and one's in stable condition but still in the hospital. But after he shot the cops, I think like every other cop on duty in the city responded to the Sullivan Gulch neighborhood in Northeast Portland. And I think one of the articles I read, everyone wrote about this except for Willamette Week. So I'm citing reporting from pretty much every single outlet in the city. But I think over 88 police units. So like cars, they had their specialty teams out there. They had their crisis negotiation teams. They had
I think
their
there were
K9
planes.
unit.
Whoa.
Yes, there's also like a helicopter or something like that. I mean, they deployed everyone that they could.
Imagine if they did that for every shooting.
You would think, yes. That raises a very interesting question about
I'm like,
why.
oh, you have the resources. Okay.
Right. Yes, exactly. I was wondering about that. So I had
Me
a friend
too.
who was in the area actually at the time, and she said like cops just descended on the area And they went around to like all the cars in the area and were like, close your door, lock it, don't open it for anyone.
Wow.
And she was there for like an hour and a half, just like stuck in the neighborhood and she had no idea what was happening. Because at that point, the news was sort of delayed. Like no one knew what was going on. And she was like petrified, which makes sense. But I think what it was so interesting about it, I mean, it's, you know, a shooting at any point is bad. And cop shootings are always like rare. Like that just doesn't happen often. But I guess I was somewhat taken by the crazy large response. And I didn't totally know what to make of it. And I think it also comes just like a week or two after the ICE shooting in East Portland. And then when 88 cops did not respond to that shooting. And it also comes only like a week and a half after the cop who was captured on video saying he would have done the same with Renee Good in Minneapolis was put on not leave. He was transferred off of the street basically. But it sort of felt like whiplash. It was like, Portland police are part of a bad system. They have harmful views, some of them, to like a week later, like, oh, these two cops, we wish them well. We wish them a speedy recovery. They're doing the Lord's work. It's just such an interesting, like, I don't even know how to, I was thinking about it last night and I was like, I don't totally know how to contextualize this. I don't know. It's just like two such distinct framings of police, I guess, and, the work they do. And I don't know. I felt jumbled about it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like both can be true. And I think that's what is maybe a little whiplashy about it, but that's how almost any concept is. When it's embodied by a human, we contain multitudes. We don't want any public servants to be hurt in the line of duty, no matter, if they're EMT, if they're police officers, if they're fire department. Park rangers, we don't want anyone to get hurt on the job. But at the same time, we do hold police to a higher standard because they have license to kill.
Yeah.
And park rangers don't. And so if they're glib about life or constitutional rights, we're going to care a little bit more.
You have a good point. I think what's interesting too, and this is from some reporting from Coin, is just understanding how often this happens. So this was the first time in 5 years that a police officer has been shot and injured in the line of duty, which, to be honest with you, I had this feeling that it maybe happened more often than that. I don't know why. I just feel like the likelihood of the nature of their job, it would bring about that happening pretty often. But I think it makes it so that this seems like much more of a big deal. And in some ways, at least to them, justifies the response.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I forgot to add like the most critical part. This guy's still at large. So they were searching for like 12 hours. Ugh. And then they never found him. They released a couple photos of the guy, put out a physical description. And now they're asking for, anyone around the area that has like private surveillance camera footage to send it to the police bureau. I mean, so it's like basically, I don't know how active the manhunt is now, but I assume they're very much still looking for this guy. But I feel like it's also rare that someone like does that and gets away with it, especially when there's at least 88 cops looking for you in a helicopter. Like this guy's got, I don't know, he's good in a bad way.
Yeah. Didn't we have pictures of some sort?
Pictures, but like, name or anything or like what he does or why he was there or looks like a pretty normal dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. The quote from one of the sergeants on the case was, "Someone knows who this guy is." And it kind of cracked me up because it's literally just like a white man with a hat and a beard. I'm like, yeah, everyone knows someone that looks like that guy.
I know 7 people that is that guy.
Because he's so like general looking.
He did just look like he was like going to his local Freddy's or something. He had like a grocery bag with him. Like just... Anyways.
That's so funny because when I saw him, I assumed that he might have been like houseless or wandering because he had that I'm wearing everything I own look. But that was my assumption. Hearing that that was not confirmed or anything now, I'm just like, well, that's very odd that we don't know anything about this person at this point. Not even like, oh, he was from this camp or whatever. Nothing. That's a little unsettling, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Well, Sophie, thanks so much for breaking that down. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, more headlines of the week. Do you have a bicycle stored inside that's always in the way like a bad roommate? Maybe even a herd of bikes taking up way too much space in the garage? You can fit your bike in 1/3 the space with a Flatten Your Bike kit from Flatbike. Their thin stem instantly folds your handlebars 90 degrees with no tools, while their Flatbike pop-off pedals release in seconds, making your bike easier to maneuver and more theft-resistant. Because who's gonna ride off on your bike with no pedals? Now, any place is a great place for your bike because it's flat on demand. That's portable adventure from Flatbike. Learn more at flatbike.com. That's flatbike.com. A new year is the perfect time for a fresh start. If you've been wanting to improve your team's work dynamics and communication, and no one has taken you up on a top golf outing, check out Skill Charter. They're a locally owned leadership development company that's already helped colleagues at Portland State, Wild Cannabis, and Nonstop Health reconnect, reset, and actually work better together. Skill Charter's workshops are fun, affordable, and designed to create real lasting change long after everyone goes back to the office. They help growing organizations build strong teams by providing the space to finally have the kinds of conversations you never have time for. They bring the structure, facilitation, clarity, practical tools, and plenty of humor. You just have to bring your people. To learn more, explore case studies, or connect with co-founders Kate and Corin, go to skillcharter.com. That's skillcharter.com. All right, guys. So this week I'm digging into the story about a freelance journalist, Laura Jadid, who documented exactly how easy it was to get a job at ICE. I saw her viral video about it on TikTok last week, which she based on an article she wrote for Slate. But once the connection was made that she was a former Portlander, a few local reporters then also interviewed her, like the Oregonians Veronica Nocera and Willamette Week's Anthony Effinger. I relied on their reporting as well as Laura's original Slate article. So straight off, Laura is an Army veteran who lived in Portland for just a little over a decade. In that time, she graduated from Reed College, wrote for the Willamette Week, Sophie, and then 5 years ago, she moved to New York for grad school. So last August, Laura attended an ICE career expo in Arlington, Texas that promised on-the-spot hiring and a $50,000 signing bonus. And she decided, it's crazy. So she decided, I'm going to go and I'm going to document the agency's hiring process. In her Slate article titled, "You've heard about who ICE is recruiting? The truth is far worse. I'm the proof." She went into detail about what she included in her resume, what she left out, who else showed up to apply, the kinds of questions asked, how long they took to get back to her. So she knew on paper that the fact that she enlisted into the Army straight out of high school, deployed to Afghanistan twice with the 82nd Airborne Division, which I've just found out is like a really big deal, and then spent a few years doing civilian analyst work, would maybe get her an initial interview. She left out an internship with Earl Blumenauer and her work as a reporter. But everything else, very true. So she figured that even with those omissions, the internship and the fact that she's a reporter, that there was just no way in hell she would get past the most cursory of background checks, because all the recruiters would have to do was simply Google her name, and they would find that the only Laura Jadid online not only looks exactly like her, but has written many, 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 many articles criticizing Trump, his administration, and ICE. Laura Jadid even has a profile and a full rap sheet of sorts on Antifa Watch. It's a right-wing website that lists alleged members of what they call a domestic terrorist organization. And on this profile, there are notes of every protest she covered or attended and links to all of her socials, which again, all lead back to her face. So how fast was she hired? The expo happened on August 27th, and her duty date, as listed on the Homeland Security's ICE portal, was September 30th. According to her, she didn't even get an official letter of hire or any further requests to submit further paperwork, no references, no real interview, just a start date. And the only reason she found out she was hired was because she logged in to check on her application status. The only real interview that occurred was at the expo, and the questions consisted of her name, birthday, whether she was over 40, length of time in the military, if she was retired or separated, and where she wanted to be stationed. The whole thing, she says, lasted about 6 minutes. She timed it. Homeland Security's response to her claims was via a tweet, and it was this exactly. This is such a lazy lie. This individual was, all caps, never offered a job at ICE. Applicants may receive a tentative selection letter following their initial application and interview. That is not a job offer. It just means they're invited to submit information for review, similar to any other applicant. Which Laura responded with a video screen grab that clearly shows the Homeland Security's own website, stating she had successfully passed through the entire hiring process and just needed to complete her onboarding, as well as the expected start date of September 30th. So, what do you guys think of all this?
Claudia, I read a bit of that article too, and her clap back to DHS proving that she was hired. And the thing that got me the most was the graphic on that portal that was like the word welcome in like preschool chalk font. And then it said to ICE. I was like, oh God, this is terrible. This is so awful.
It does. I've just, what's so funny? Because I was so astounded by everything else. I glossed over that graphic, but you're right. It almost looked like chalk.
About.
Like, I think they're trying to mimic chalk on a school board, like a chalkboard. Like, welcome to class,
bad.
welcome to ICE. That's terrible.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
I think one of the things that really got me about that is that applicants could say what city they wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Which, to me, if they actually get their selections, what ICE agent is going to say, I want to go to Portland? It's going to be the guy that's like, I hate liberals. And Portland is on fire and we need to crack down. Like, it's going to be like the worst of the worst that are going to want to go to a liberal city. So, like, that to me is like, oh, maybe we just got, like, really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, sadly, none of it is surprising. Like, I think that sloppiness is, like, yeah, that's the Trump administration. They're sloppy, and they just want numbers, and they don't care, and it's just all bad.
Yeah, and they're doing a pretty good job recruiting. Even though in August, when she went to this expo, she stated that there was not much of a line. There was maybe 6 people in front of her. There was no security. The numbers appear to be strong in terms of growth for ICE. So it's not like, I don't know. It's not like there's a lack of, I guess, males that are excited to have weapons, little to no oversight, and I mean, literally carte blanche to do whatever they want to do. And they get to cosplay. And there's absolutely no background check, not even a Google search. It appears. Because how did this supposed left-wing freelance journalist get a job at
a domestic
ICE?
terrorist.
A domestic terrorist, in their own words. Get a job at ICE. So I can't imagine they're like searching local sex offenders, just the most basic of databases that most jobs would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically it. Just so you know, the Department of Homeland is still denying any of this happened. So there's that.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, more headlines of the week.
CityCast Portland is brought to you by PDXHomeLoan.com. Local lender James Adair has been doing residential mortgages for over 20 years. He'll work with you to set the strategy, explain the process, and ensure you maximize the return on your real estate investment. He's also a certified liability advisor, so if you're looking for a way to recover financially from the holidays, he can help optimize paying off your debt using options like a second mortgage to consolidate non-mortgage debts. Take advantage of a strategic conversation to find out if you could pay off those holiday bills much quicker than you imagined. Visit pdxhomeloan.com to access the calendar and book your free strategy call with local lender James Adair, serving Oregon, Washington, and California buyers. James Adair, NMLS 2727666 with Better Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 330511, and Equal Housing Lender.
Well, Giulia, what are you looking into this week?
So my segment this week comes from some reporting from Paolo Bicchieri at Eater Portland and Michael Russell and Jonathan Bach at The Oregonian. And they're talking about the recently released James Beard Awards semifinalist list. And the latest on the highly anticipated opening of the James Beard Public Market in downtown Portland. And for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about or who James Beard was, he was a revolutionary American chef, author, and TV personality. He's known for championing local ingredients, farm-to-table cooking, and hosting the first ever televised cooking show in 1946. Basically, he grew up in Portland and passed away in 1985, but his legacy lives on through these very prestigious awards, which a lot of people consider like the Oscars of food. So before I get into the updates about his legacy market opening, I do want to congratulate the list of local awards nominees. So I'm going to read them off. It's a pretty short list. So starting with Le Pigeon in Central East Side for Outstanding Restaurant, Coquine in Southeast for Outstanding Wine and Other Beverage Program, Scotch Lodge in Southeast for Outstanding Bar, the Elbow Room in Vancouver, Washington for the Best New Bar, and then Heavenly Creatures, Joel Gunderson for Outstanding Professionalism in Beverage Service, and Cafeoli's Taylor Manning and Siobhan Spirits. Maurice's, Christine Murray, Gato Gato's, Thomas Pisha Duffley, Notoguro's, Ryan Roadhouse, and Jory Restaurant at the Allison Inn Spa's Jack Strong for the best chef in Northwest and Pacific. I feel like the one that caught my eye was Coquine, not because it was surprising, but because I remembered they had a nomination last year. Then I looked into it and they actually were nominated in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, and 25. So
just give it to her already.
Just give it to her already.
Same thing with Gato Gato and Le Pigeon. Like, these are restaurants that are nominated over and over again in their class. It just shows how good they are. But also, it is every year. It hurts my feelings when these restaurants don't win, especially like Coquine, where you're just like, for fuck's sake. It's just,
yeah. Stop dangling it in front of their faces.
So they were finalists again this year.
Yes,
well, this is semifinals.
Yes, semifinalists. You're correct.
Okay.
We're not quite there yet.
They're nominees again this year.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so she could win. Coquine lady could win.
So congratulations to all of them. It's a huge deal. I love to see so many local restaurants and chefs on that list. But moving on to the recent updates about the market. So ambitious goals for a soft opening late last year and full completion this year obviously weren't met. The place is still fully under construction, and the grand opening has been delayed to early 2027. And they have talked about having community previews before then, so we might be able to see more of it sometime at the end of this year. But the thing is that aside from significantly rising development costs, like in the millions, the delays are largely due to the project just growing more extravagant than initially planned. So to start, the construction of the space is like just far from basic. The interior is going to showcase old dug-fir beams that were discovered during the demolition, which really just reminds me of the level of thoughtfulness that went into constructing like the PDX wood ceiling, which I love that wood ceiling. But they're also adding new structural elements like an atrium and elevators and a whole rooftop space, which sounds amazing. So a lot of people are anxiously waiting for the opening. And it just fits into this active effort over the past few years to bring people back downtown. And it's being compared to other food destinations in the area, like the Midtown Beer Market, Flock at the Ritz, and Pine Street Market, which is still struggling to recover from a major pandemic blow. But people are split on how successful they think the James Beard Market can be, even with foot traffic downtown having been on a steady incline the past couple of years, which is fair because people are just pessimistic about downtown and they have every right to be. But it does seem like the market is going to offer a lot to entice those folks that are maybe on the fence about making their way downtown. So they're hoping to host around 40 local vendors with a wide range of expertise, from patisseries and pasta makers to fishmongers, butchers, bakers, cheesemongers, fresh produce vendors. And there are also plans to include restaurants and tasting rooms, a whole teaching kitchen, event spaces, and even a basement level bakery all at the market, which sounds amazing. I feel like you could just spend an entire day there. Like I hear all this and I'm like, too good to be true. Like, can I even afford this? And what's really cool about it is that even though this place seems like unbelievably magical, they are planning to accept SNAP benefits for folks who need that. And they really do want to make the space available to people across all income levels. So the goal is to make it affordable across the board.
What I was imagining, because this is what they kept saying, is like, this is going to be the, PDX version of the Pike Place Market from Seattle, which is awesome. I mean, the Pike Place Market has been there forever. But it's the great part about that market is that it's not just food. It's all kinds of vendors. It is you can get fresh flowers, you can get, handmade tchotchkes, that kind of thing. And I really feel like if you want to get more people downtown or more people to that market, they're going to have to expand what that market is. Because like you said, you just named all these places where we can get food.
Yeah.
It can't just be food is what I'm thinking. It has to be just a little bit more. But not only that, Pike Place Market is located in one of the most beautiful areas. And you can go to any restaurant there because they also have restaurants and you can just hang out in the Puget Sound, get fresh oysters there. So what I'm saying is
Seattle.
What I'm saying is the James Beard Market wants to actually be all right, we're going to be the Pike Place, market of Portland. We got to do something of that scale. That's all.
I'm hopeful in the planning process with 40 different vendor spaces that there will be some of that. It may not be the highlight points, but I feel like there's space for that. And I think what's interesting, you brought up this example of Pike Place, and I looked into it a little bit, and they've been around for so long, and they actually just happened. They came about naturally. There were some folks that set up a market space there just to try to get people's attention and catch folks walking in the area to sell them things. And then over time, over decades, it turned into this big iconic thing versus in this case, we're trying to create the big thing first and hope that people show up, which isn't guaranteed to be successful. So it's hard to compare, but it's true, right? You should learn from the best. But I think what's interesting and something I didn't know is that the project is a nonprofit and they've been trying to secure funding from public and private donors, and they have secured a lot of it, but they are still fundraising because they're trying to account for those gaps now that the development costs have risen and their goals have expanded pretty significantly. But yeah, I feel like as much as it is a bummer that this is being delayed already and downtown is so desperate for it to open, I'm still really excited. I feel like it could be delayed even another couple years and I'd still be waiting at the door just ready for it to open. And I think the thing about it that makes it feel really special is that I think they are capturing exactly what James Beard would have wanted. It really does feel like it really hones in on his spirit and just celebrates our region's food and brings people together, which just feels really good and really awesome.
No, I'm definitely excited for this space as well. I just don't like when things are compared to things where I'm that could just never be.
I know.
Like the Pike, I'm going back to the Pike Place Market. That has over 120, almost 120 years.
I know, it's not going to be that. It has to be something different.
It has to be its own thing is all I'm saying. And I just, because if anyone from Seattle comes down and goes and they're like, oh, this is your Pike Place Market. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, but I'm very excited about it. Well, Giulia, thanks for looking into that. Before we head out, we have some shout outs from members of our Portland Neighbors program. One of the perks of being a paying member of CityCast Portland is the opportunity to shout out a local business or organization that you love.
Yeah, I have a shout out here from listener Mariana C. And they're saying, Portland has a Mardi Gras. The ball is on February 14th at the Wonder Ballroom, and the nighttime lighted parade is on February 17th on Northeast Mississippi Street at 7 p.m., which is right in my neighborhood. You can still send an application to enter the parade now. Ball tickets are available. Ball theme is Sea of Love. That sounds like so much fun.
We have one here from listener Allie B. The Center for Couples and Sex Therapy is a highly specialized, compassionate, and dedicated mental health practice to helping people create more pleasure and connection in their life.
I do have one more here from listener Dana H. P's and Q's Market in Woodlawn. They have a killer brunch and lunch menu in the winter and an equally good dinner menu in summer hours. Come for the food, service, and drinks, and stay for the hidden garden patio that's heated in the winter and shaded in the summer. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, P's and Q's is awesome. They also have really cool pop-ups sometimes in the summer that I would keep an eye on. Well, shout out to Miriana, Ellie, Dana, and thank you to our newest member, Miria P. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. When you join as a Portland neighbor, we'd also be happy to read your shout outs of places you love in Portland, along with a bunch of other perks like ad-free listening. You can join at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, going through some of the headlines. I hope everyone listening, including you guys, have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Claudia.
Thanks, Claudia.
Before we actually head out, I just wanted to let you know that applications are still open for our audience development manager position. They'll be open until Friday, January 30th. This is the person who's going to help us shape how CityCast Portland shows up in the world through our social media, at events, through partnerships, and everywhere else our audience hangs out. We want someone who's plugged into Portland culture, internet culture, events, has an understanding of what people actually care about. It's a full-time position with excellent benefits and competitive pay, and the chance to help build the future of local media in Portland. Again, applications are due Friday, January 30th. Head over to citycast.fm/jobs to apply. That's citycast.fm/jobs. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. Our podcast production team this week was John Atariani, Giulia Fiaoni, Lizzie Goldsmith, and myself. Our newsletter editors were Rachel Monahan and Adrian Gonzalez, and our host is me, Claudia Meza. Original music by Jenny Conley and Stephen Drizos, additional music by All the Kimonos, as well as Sarah the Instrumentalist, Timothy Infinite, and Gregory David, courtesy of Epidemic Sound, as well as Opal 99 and D-May, courtesy of Triple Scoop Music. We'll be back Monday morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.